Oh, perfect timing. Perfect. Just like we drew it up in practice. How's everybody doing? Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. It is snowing and it is beautiful. So I have my window open, or my shade at least, so that I can see this beautiful snow. So forgive the light. The lighting is a little bit off, and I haven't showered and I haven't shaved, and I got home from work at about 1:30 in the morning last night, but we're here and we're streaming and we're going to do pretty much whatever you guys want. I could tell you about my project updates, but we can also do questions, and I'm sure there are a lot of questions and a lot of people that will show up and go, hey, can you help me do this thing? And we'll go, yeah, I know how to do that thing. And then we'll tell you how to do it. It's great. It's just how it works. All right. Let's say hello, everybody. We got Nick, first one up, and Sir Goodenough, of course. I saw Sir Goodenough was getting everybody's attention in the Discord as well. We got our stream command timer thing working, or at least for this stream it was working. Who knows what's going to happen next stream? But hey, how's it going? All right, we got Christian and Zaid and Ryan and John. How you doing? Martin, Udo, Mr. Fixers, Andy. Oh man. And then just a whole bunch of stuff just flashed past and I missed like 20 more names. How's everybody doing? Where's everybody coming from? Peter. Perfect time for streaming. Oh, good. Good. How's it going? Hey, Jaren, how are you? How's your lights? Everything working okay? I always wonder, things work and then you let them go and then who knows, right? From Jordan, nice. Portugal, check. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Octoprint cam theory. Is that what you're working on, Octoprint cam, or you want to see my Octoprint cam? Still interested in the alarm setup and wiring. Okay, we can talk about that. It's actually working really well. It is actually working quite well right now. Like we can talk about that. Thanks for your knowledge in badassery. Kids are watching. Just got home from work. Oh, good, Tony. Thank goodness. Livermore, East Bay of San Francisco. Oh, cool. I've been to, where did I live? I lived in San Rafael, north a little bit, right? And we have some good friends that are in, where are they? They are in Santa Rosa, way north. But anyways, been to that area a little bit. Have I already made something with a wired ESP32? Hey, Martin, have I made something? Well, what I made was the dragon thing. I did make the dragon out of a wired ESP32, and it works pretty well. I actually need to get some more. If I was going to get some, the ones I would get would be the Olimex PoE, the long skinny ones. That's what I would get. The weather in Alpine. Let's see what it says. I wonder if it's right. It's definitely snowing like crazy. Oh, there's Zachary.
Hi.
Well, hello.
Holly?
Huh?
I just said hi.
Oh, I thought you said Holly. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, Zachary's here to say hi, and I'm going to tell him he's got to do some work.
What?
Look at my office. Oh. My office is absolutely covered. It is an absolute disaster, and it is all Digiquad orders. We need some serious orders filled.
Okay.
So I printed all the labels, but we just need to put them and pack them.
Yes. Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
You
can do it at some point before we leave. We got to leave in a couple hours. But
when are we leaving?
Like 1 o'clock, yeah.
Okay. I thought we were leaving at 12, and I was like, I'm not ready.
No, we're leaving at 1 o'clock. We're leaving at 1 o'clock. We got, so today, the reason I'm streaming today instead of tomorrow is we've got soccer tournament. Dawson is playing in a soccer tournament a few hours south of here where it's not snowing. And so we're heading down there sometime this afternoon, try and leave around 1 o'clock-ish, and we won't be home until Monday night. So we're streaming today, and probably not super long. Hopefully we'll do an hour. All right. So if you want to ask a question, if you have a question, give me the little tilde, ask, and then put your question in. That way, they all kind of get organized, and Sir Goodenough and Blade and other mods, if they're around, can help kind of organize that. And we will get to some questions. But I will tell you, so what's happening here, this is the alarm the alarm system thing. Let's see if my cord is long enough. Not quite. But that's okay. I'll point the camera at it a little bit. And I'll show you where I'm at with the wired alarm system thing. Let's see. Okay, it's sort of upside down and it's sort of wonkus, but whatever, you know. So here it is. So I ended up having to cut off this screw terminal part because I could not get the Ethernet board to work with this screw terminal thing on there. And for everybody who's looking at this going, what in the world is that? This is an Arduino Mega down here at the bottom with an Ethernet shield here on top. And then, like I was just saying, this is half of a screw terminal add-on board for the Mega. And this is running a sketch, which is bringing in a whole bunch of binary sensors. A whole bunch of binary sensors to Home Assistant through Mqtt Discovery. And then if I ground one of these, terminals here, let's just pick one, pick this one. Watch the Mqtt Explorer there when I ground it. Let's see. Where'd it go? Come on now. Maybe I'm not grounding it. Maybe I got on the wrong one. Cannot tell which side is which. So we'll try this. And nothing was working yesterday. Well, that's stinkery. It broke already, yeah. Anyways, it does work. Reset 3, 5, ground. Okay. Well, that sucks. Anyways, we'll figure it out. What did we broke? We broke it already. It was working beautifully. But anyways, the idea is, you know, it's a wired alarm system, and it sends a message when it is when one of those is closed. I don't know why it's not working, but whatever. Let's bag that for now, I suppose. I don't know why it would stop working. Doesn't appear to be connected to the network. Maybe that's the problem. Okay, well, anyways. Nothing to ask right now, but wanted to say I got my Digiuno and WLED working with X lights. Yes! Got 2 rough sequences together so far. Nice! Fail button. Oh, yes, fail button. Sorry, you're so right. Fail button. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. Okay, let me look at the questions page here. 5 questions. There it is. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. Do you have a preferred vendor for WS2811 pixels? Getting ready for order for some for my roof lines. So one company, let's see. How to say. I've had good luck with ones that I've bought from Amazon, with the Alcove, something like that, and Rexton, but others have had less good luck with those. I've had some people who say that they've gotten bad lights, and certainly the wire on those lights is not as robust as some of the others. You can go to RGB Man and buy his lights if you're in the US. He's definitely got high quality. I think you pay a little bit more for it, and you do get better connections and a lot of stuff. So there's, some good reasons to go with the ones that RGB Man sells. But I was just going to say, probably your best value is going to be BTF lighting. BTF lighting, like Richard says. BTF lighting is a pretty well established manufacturer of LEDs. Reasonable prices. They're not going to be the cheapest ones you'll find generally, but they'll be pretty good prices and they'll be pretty good quality. So, do you want to have a look at the snow? I'll try. Let me see if I can get you to look at the snow. Oops. Let me see. There it is. Watching the snowfall. That's pretty awesome, actually. Worked pretty well. BTF lighting is where you got your 6812s, and they are great. It's also a bit more expensive than the cheapest Chinese. Yeah, that's true. Good balance between price and reliability. That's exactly right. That's why if I'm going to partner with a lighting company, it'll be BTF lighting. Saludos desde Mexico. Big fan. Hey, Rafael. How are you? Thanks for being here. All right. So I answered that question. So I'm going to hit the check mark. And it changes. Turns green. Awesome. Can we connect the Wi-Fi LED strip controller to Home Assistant? Yes, Zaid. Yes, you can. And it's actually, if you're using WLED and you're using Home Assistant, it just shows up. It just shows up in your integrations. In fact, it will probably just pop up and say, "Hey, you've got a new device. Do you want to integrate it?" Let me see if mine has that. It doesn't have any new ones right now, but if you go there, you go just to your, oops, can't see because of the snow. If you go to integrations, WLED will be here. And if it's not here, you can add it, but it should just show up. If you put WLED lights on your, network, they should just show up. If they don't, then you could just go here, add integrations, and then put the IP address of the WLED controller. And then you have them in Home Assistant, and they're pretty awesome. Once you get this whole device right here. And you can't see the matrix, but the matrix is on. You can get all of the effects and brightness and colors and all that. Turn it on and turn it off. And then there's a couple other services to like call a preset or set an effect. So, yep, plenty. Certainly. All right. Okay, let's ask another one. That's Nicholas. Nothing to ask. All right. Best motion sensor for Home Assistant. Haven't been having a good time with Sonoff SNZB03. Cooldown time is 1 minute. Not good for automating the lights on and off. Gotcha. Well, there's lots of good options for motion sensors. I guess the first thing that you have to ask yourself, let's go back to the snow for a minute. The first thing that you have to ask yourself or decide is, do you want something that's wired or something that is battery powered? If you do wired, you can use something with ESP Home and use the AM312 wired motion sensors. That's what I really like. I add those to light switches, and that way they're in the room right by the light switch. They're wired. They're not taking any battery. And then in ESP Home, you can adjust all that stuff like the re-trigger time, like you're saying, the cooldown time. I did just get one of these. And some of you may have seen, there's a couple other people that have put out videos about this. I just sent these guys, this is Shelley. Shelley just put out a battery-powered Wi-Fi motion sensor, and it's got a rechargeable battery, and it's Shelley, so it's going to be good. This battery's supposed to last like 3 years. And in the app, in the Shelley app, you can adjust the heck out of this thing. So your re-trigger time, you can put it on a schedule so that it, only detects motion certain times a day. It also has a light sensor, so you can set it to only detect motion like at night or in the day if you want to do that. So this is a pretty good motion sensor. I don't know what it cost, to be honest. They sent it to me. I don't even know if it's for sale yet. I know they were just going to be announcing it this week. But it's a Wi-Fi rechargeable battery Shelley motion sensor. My guess is it's going to be on the more expensive side. My guess price for something like this is probably $25, $30 maybe. But it's going to be pretty good. It's going to be pretty good. Does the base of it swivel? Oh yeah, totally. I mean, and it pops off, so you can just pop it off and then you go recharge it. And the reason that it's blinking all these crazy colors is because it's got a tamper alarm. So because I'm like pulling it and holding it and moving it around, the tamper alarm is going crazy. So you can set the tamper alarm so that if anybody were to like pull it off the wall and try and outsmart it that way, that they would be alarming, setting off the alarm. So it is kind of huge. And I think the reason that it's huge is because the battery that's in it. I mean, it's heavy too. It's a rechargeable battery that's supposed to last 3 years. So is it $40? Wow. Yeah. I'm sure I heard Everything Smart Home said it was about 45. Okay. Yeah, I'll bet you if you looked it up, but we could probably look it up. I don't know if they've, I thought they just released it. I know that they asked me to do a little, there it is. Shop now. Oh, you can't see it. Camera. Pre-order. Anyway, check it out. It's definitely, I mean, it's not going to be cheap, but it'll work. Snow. BTF Lighting has both IP30 and IP68 for WS2011. Would IP30 be okay if it's in an aluminum channel? No. Not if you're putting it outside, Ricky. If the IP30 is really just sort of dust proof, and if it's in any situation where it's going to get wet, it's going to probably cause you a problem. I think you could do. There's usually. So the 68, is that the one where they just cover it with silicone? I thought that was 65. 68 should be fine outside. But IP30 in the aluminum channel, I mean, if you put it like up, if it's under something, if you're sure it's not going to get any water in it, then maybe it's okay. But no, if it's going to get wet at all, I think your IP30s will be bad. Yeah, Patrick's probably right. Even if it's inside the channel, you may, just because of the heat in there, and if it gets cold outside, you may get some condensation in there. I would just say if you're going to try IP30 outside, you're probably just asking for trouble. 6 is splash proof. 8 means dust proof. Okay. 22 would even be at risk of high humidity. IP65 if the silicone coated. 68 is in the sleeve. Okay. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, and I've got IP65s outside, and they've done okay. I've got them outside, and they're not even in a channel, and they've done okay. They're not great, but they've done okay. I figured I'd see how long it could last. All right, let's check that one off. What do we got next? How do you manage Home Assistant database? One of my Home Assistant is causing full issues with snapshots. Yes, very good question. So. This is from Stove Doctor. So, the way to manage the size of your Home Assistant database is with the recorder component. That would be the first thing I would recommend is go to this page here, and I'll drop this link in here. Ask your questions. So go here and you can set some configurations for the recorder entity, or for the recorder service. And what you would include, or what you would do is set a few things. Like there are some domains that you just don't need to include, right? Maybe you just don't need to know when your binary sensors or your automations or things like that are, what state they're in. So that's an easy thing. You can just exclude a bunch of your entities, and then it won't record the state of them anyways. But probably even more important is this part here, where you're talking about how many days are you going to keep data. So you cut that way down so that you don't keep a lot of data. Okay. So you set the purge date to something shorter. The other thing that you can do is change where the database lives. So you can use a lot of different database programs. I know Sir Goodenough, didn't you do a video? I can't remember who it was, about MariaDB. So there's a MariaDB database add-on that you can use. There's a lot of different databases that you could use, but if I recall, with MariaDB, it was pretty easy to set up, and I think it's a better. I don't know if it's better at the size of the database or whatever, but regardless, you can move it to a different place so that it is not on your Home Assistant hard drive. You can move it off or put it on I think you can put it on a USB stick or something like that. And then finally, when you set up your snapshots with hopefully you're using the Home Assistant Google Drive add-on here, you can change it so that it only backs up, certain things, right? So you can, instead of being a full snapshot, it can just be a partial snapshot. You can see mine. Well, this one is really small snapshots, but on my sort of old Home Assistant, the snapshots are like 6 gigabytes. They're like massive. Yeah, 5.8 gigabytes. So it's huge, right? I only have like room for one on there. And the other thing you can do is just not store the snapshots on your drive at all, or on your actual Home Assistant computer. Just store them off. Really, when you need them, you can just get them from wherever. So I would just put them somewhere else. But this is what I've been doing. I'm just keeping one on the Home Assistant computer and then 2 in the Google Drive space, and that way I've always got a couple extras. So there's some things to do. Go to the record component and change how often it keeps things, and how often it purges, what it keeps. Maybe check out using MariaDB as your database instead of the one that it uses by default. And then you can look at maybe putting the database file off of your Home Assistant hard drive. And then finally just manage what it backs up and how many backups it keeps. Does that help? Done. Okay. It's time for Dr. Pepper. All right. Let's see. What else we got for questions? Questiones. Today I learned that I can back up my Home Assistant snapshots to Google Drive. Good, Robert. That is number one thing you should be doing. I actually have, believe it or not, I am still making regular videos. I know I don't do it very often, but I am still making regular videos. And I've got the one that I'm about not even halfway edited yet, but I'm editing it, is my priority list for Home Assistant. So when you start Home Assistant, what are the most important things in my opinion? And number one is this: Google Drive Home Assistant backups. Number one. And Sir Goodenough has a video on that too. There you go. Go check it out. So yes, I'm glad you guys figured that. Oh man, Diet Dr. Pepper sounds awesome right now. Go get some, Andy. Quick. Chris, I can answer that. What's the latest word on Permatrack? I'll answer that just because I just saw it there. It is, last I heard, it is on a train. So it has gone from a boat to a train. So that's positive. It is potentially going to arrive in Utah next week. which is wonderful. And then what will happen is we will fill the back orders. So we have orders from people from like October. We're going to fill those. And then probably by about the beginning of March, we will be able to start taking new orders. Okay. Bling, Digiquad stock. The Digiquads are gone, brother. Gone. Like 400 of them gone in a few hours. It is crazy. Crazy. Make sure not to use the encryption function. Oh, okay. Rendrich says, don't use the encryption function. There you go. From Romania. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right, next question. I enjoy making things to incorporate into Home Assistant, but I've run out of ideas. What? JSM Repairs, you've run out of ideas? Oh, man. I tell you this, I have gotten myself into a lot of trouble by trying to come up with things just to see what I could come up with. Does that make sense? If I think to myself, oh, I could automate that, typically it's ended up bad. Not bad, but it's ended up like getting me in trouble. Like the bathroom automations, where the door locks. When you put the toilet seat up, the door locks. That was fun, but it ended up bad. Yeah. So, have you done your garage doors? You got to do garage doors, or high on the list of things you should do with your automations. Let's see what other things are really popular for you guys. You tell me what you think. I love doing text to speech messages and announcement kinds of things. That's a lot of fun, and especially if you're using the Nabukasa and the Google Cloud Say text to speech messages are really good. They just sound really good, and they are really fun. So I've been using those a lot. I just did a couple of things for the girls, for my daughters, and for my wife, for sort of Valentine's Day, with little things that I lit up with LEDs, and we can use those for indicating what's going on. Do you have a person tracker? Person tracker is a good thing too. Like this, it shows you where everybody is, if they're home or not. These guys are far, far away. He's actually in Arizona, but anyways, those trackers are fun. What are some other good automations, guys? Oh, the air quality, using zoned air recirculating to change it. Yeah, thermostat stuff is always good. And I know I've got a big sort of Node-RED, logic flow that manages the house fan, right? So it's sort of manages the air conditioning and the heating and a non-heating system, or just a fan. So it's not the air conditioning. So something like this is pretty useful too, because you can do, it opens windows, it closes windows, it turns on fans, it turns off fans, it turns on the air, it turns on the heat. Like, it's a lot of stuff. So random love notes with Node-RED. Stove Doctor, you're so romantic. Ooh, watering the garden based on weather reports. I like that. Automation of window blinds is fun. It is, Benji. It sure is. We've got our shades that go up and down based on time of day, but you can certainly do it based on light, Preventing my laser from freezing using an RF thermostat. Tasmota. Oh, that's cool. So there's a lot of good stuff out there. There's a lot of good stuff. But be careful you don't get yourself in trouble. I'm playing around with bending my own aluminum channel for WS2811 pixels. I seem to have a good plan, but just looking for recommendations on how to drill and punch out holes for the 12 millimeter pixels. Good question. It's like Morocco. So here's what I started working on. I'll give you my idea that I started working on, but I haven't finished. I went to Harbor Freight and bought a bunch. Well, I just bought 3, but I would say a bunch of drills from Harbor Freight. They have these like $15 drills. And For a couple dollars, you can get I think it's a half inch is pretty close to the 12 millimeters. It's not exactly right, but it's pretty close. So a half-inch drill bit, because they don't have 12 millimeter drill bits, but a half-inch drill bit and a $15 drill, and put them all in a line, and secure them all to like a bar, and then push them all down at once. That's my idea. I know people have, because I don't have a drill press, but basically what you're doing is doing a drill press that's like really, got a bunch of drills in it. But I think that's a pretty good idea, honestly. But a drill press and a jig is what other people have done that does better. I tried using a punch. I don't know about aluminum. I mean, I don't think you can punch through aluminum very well. I tried using a punch with the vinyl stuff. It just didn't really do it. It's hard to get a punch that's sharp enough with enough pressure to actually punch through the vinyl J channel. So drilling is just the way to go. So the paddle drill bits usually make a pretty clean hole, and half-inch is pretty close. So cheap drills and a half-inch drill bit. That's my recommendation. Update on the Digiunos. So right now, I have a few Digiunos left. So I will post a few for sale on the website here in the next week or so. But it won't be very many. I don't know how many I have. It's a kind of a matter of canceled orders and homemade ones. I got some homemade ones that I'll put up there. So I'll have some, but now the Digiunos are going to be changing. So the next time I get a batch of pre-assembled Digiunos, sometime probably late March, they will be, you'll have options for which kind of controller you put on top. So we're going to have Quindor's custom ESP32 boards. And you'll be able to choose. So you'll be able to choose, I want one with the antenna on the board, sort of like the standard ESP32 mini. So it's got that little, it kind of looks like a little Tetris snake or something, right? It's just on the board. That's got the antenna on the board. Those usually work well for most situations. There's also going to be one with an external antenna. So you can, have a longer range. So you can put it farther away and it'll still get a good signal to your Wi-Fi. So that'll be an option. So you can get the Digiuno with the onboard antenna or with the external antenna. So that'll be an option. And then there'll be the Ethernet as well. I think we'll have the Ethernet option available as well. And then we will also have, so that will be the Digiuno will be more or less the same. The Digiquad, I believe, the Digiquad will have those same options because that's the controller that goes on top. So it'll be the same options, but the board itself has changed a bit more for the Digiquad, I think, all for the better. It's just there's a lot of efficiencies that could be made in order to make it manufacturable better instead of being, DIY, but we have a factory making it for you. So, but that'll be sort of into March will be the next time. Oh yeah, support for 24 volts. Actually, that's true. Yeah, there will be support for 24 volts. It's also changed so that you don't have to worry about the jumper anymore. I think we pretty much pounded that into everybody that, you got to make sure that you've got the jumper set to the right voltage, whether it's 5 volts or 12 volts. Now you'll be able to, with the newest changes to the Digiuno and Digiquad, not the ones I'm currently shipping, but the ones that will come later in March, you can connect anything between 5 and 24 volts, and your control board will not fry. It will automatically detect and send the appropriate voltage to the controller. You still have to have matched your voltage with your LEDs. So if you're using 5-volt LEDs, don't connect a 24-volt power supply. That's not a good idea. But if you have 24-volt LEDs or 12-volt LEDs, you can connect a 12-volt power supply or 20-volt power supply, and you don't have to worry about damaging the control board that sits on top. Okay? Ooh, Amari. Amari's got something here too. The HASP this has been a long time coming. I don't suppose Luma's here. This has been a big change. So let me digress for a minute here. Big surprise, digressing. There's a thing called a Home Assistant switch plate. It has been a while since I talked about this, like a couple of years since I talked about this. But the Home Assistant switch plate is if you've never heard of this before, it's I think it was about a $15, $12, something like that, Nextion touch panel and a D1 Mini and a little power converter. And it used to be, it ran off of like, oh my goodness, 100 different automations or something to put it all together. So Luma, I think it's Adarusha. Adarusha, Luma, Allen, whatever. He made up all this a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago. And because now with Home Assistant blueprints, this is making a comeback. So I know people have asked about some of these fancy light switches. I can't remember the name of the company, but there's a company or probably more than one that are making smart switches that are just a touch panel. And you can do some things. You can't really customize too much of it, but you can customize some things. And they're like $100. They're crazy. This guy, if you buy the parts yourself, $20, somewhere in that ballpark, I think, maybe 25. And it's fully customizable. And it's just gotten a lot easier to customize. So Luma's going to come on a stream. I've been talking to him about it. Luma's going to come on a stream, and we're going to go through some of the options, or how you do it now versus how you used to do it. It used to be like, I still use the thing. I still have a couple of them that are running in my house that are running the old way. And the old way was, basically an automation for every button and an automation for like the colors and the text. And I mean, it's amazing how complicated it was. And so making changes to it was painful. It was quite difficult. It took a lot of YAML editing to make changes. Now with blueprints, that has all gotten quite a bit better. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens here and where we go with Home Assistant switch plate. But anyways, awesome, right? New project to add to the backlog. That's right, Benji. That's right. That's right. Oh, man. Okay. Let's see. Where are we at on questions? Nicholas says, does Shelley devices work seamlessly with Home Assistant out of the box without Mqtt or Flash Tasmota? Yes, if you use the Shelley integration. So there is a Shelley integration now with Home Assistant. So if you go here, in fact, it probably will. I think I've dismissed it, but I don't remember if you have to add the integration or not. But worst case, like if it doesn't just show up here in your integrations as a new device, worst case, you go add integration and search for Shelley. I know I could have just typed it in, but anyways, here's the Shelley integration right here. And then you put in the IP address of the device. But I think once you do that, I think it just detects new devices here, I think. But I'm not 100% sure. So worst case, once the Shelley device connects to your router, you can get the IP address. And the Shelley integration is now really, really good. So no, you don't have to do, like you used to have to, set up Mqtt and do a bunch of stuff. I've even put Tasmota on them or ESP Home just to play around, but you don't need to do any of that anymore. Shelley works so well. And the Shelley guys and the Home Assistant guys have been working together, which is always a good thing. Shelley just makes good stuff. They're good guys. They're a small group of guys that just do a good job. They're home automation enthusiasts. I would think of like Dimitar and his guys that work on Shelley as kind of like Quindor, but of smart switches, right? He does it because he loves it and he uses it himself, and he sits there and goes, okay, what do I want? What kind of switch do I want? What does my home need? And then he builds it. And then he looks at the products that are out there and goes, what's wrong with that product? And then he makes one better. So I would say, I would definitely recommend Shelley. They're good stuff. Works so much better than the integration. Oh, Stove Doctor says you can flash Tasmota over the air now too. Yeah, okay. You can still do those things if you wanted to. You bet. Need a sexier faceplate for Home Assistant switch plate. Oh, you mean you like this? Yeah, you do. Okay. Rewrite of the Haspit notes. Oh, cool. Oh, Amari's got, okay, this is another option. Here's another option for the Home Assistant switch plate. This one is the, is this ESP home based? I need to play with this too. So yeah, I haven't had a lot of extra time to play with this, but wow, that looks gorgeous. I even have some of these still sitting around that I haven't used. I probably have 4 or 5 of them that I haven't used. So this is exciting. Exciting. So those brilliant switches, we got something better. Something better. Let's look at the snow again. It's getting deep. All right. This is going to be a shorter stream today. We're already getting close to an hour. Man, can you believe that? I know. Oh, we actually even have an HA switch plate channel. I didn't notice that. And it's actually been quite active. Look at that. There's a HA switch plate channel in Discord. And Luma is in there chatting this morning with some people. So there you go. All right, let's go to the questions. This is a Q&A day. Is that okay? Is everybody all right with this format? All right, where are we at? Checking in on the question page. All right, Yusuf. WLED support battery status indicated through the VCC voltage measurement. Oh boy. No. Here's the reason. I mean, yeah, I guess, but at the same time, if you're powering it off battery, first your battery's not going to last very long. So powering LEDs off a battery is really going to be tricky, especially if you're using something like an ESP8266 or ESP32 to power them, because those are Wi-Fi devices that are pretty power hungry. So you're going to be using, half a watt or something like that just for that thing. So you're going to be losing a lot of power just with the Wi-Fi on that device. So yes, I mean, I guess it does report the battery state. Maybe you can get that in WLED, right? But I guess so. Yes, but the caveat is it's probably not a great idea to power these things off of a battery anyways. So let's look at these disabled entities and see, is it in here actually? Oh, maybe it's not. So is there a voltage? I guess it's not included here. So if it's got a voltage, did you add a voltage sensor? I don't know about this voltage sensing. I assumed that there was something here that you were talking about, but maybe there's not. So, but bottom line, yeah, no, probably not. I wouldn't do that. Hey, Tech, long time no see. Where you been? Luma's been busy. Yeah, he has. He has been busy in there lately. So, yeah, I would say don't use WLED on batteries. All right, next question. Hello from Romania. Is there a simple final solution to integrate all eWeLink devices to Home Assistant? Yeah. They close it more and more. Well, there is Sonoff, the Sonoff LAN. I think it's in Home Assistant Community Store. There is Sonoff LAN. If you look for, there's this. I don't know what the current status is, but my assumption is that, this basically is connecting to their cloud and then getting all the information, putting it in Home Assistant. So this should work. And if you don't want to flash Tasmota on your Sonoff devices, use this integration. Now, I will always tell you in this hobby, there is no simple final solution for anything. Okay. So anytime if your question is there a simple final solution? It doesn't even matter what the rest of the question is. The answer is no. Okay. But this is a pretty simple solution. And I will never say that it's the final solution, because who knows what's going to change. And that's part of the fun. It's part of what keeps us on our toes. But if you just want stuff to work, I guess maybe this isn't the hobby. It's interesting. I love watching some of these other YouTube guys that do a lot of stuff with home automation, and there's guys that do a lot more than I do. Clearly, Smart Home Solver, Reed, Paul Hibbert, of course. Tech with Brett, something like that. Some of those guys, they do a lot more sort of mainstream devices. They'll use their Google Home and their off the shelf Philips Hue and those kinds of things. And I don't use a lot of that. I mean, I don't use a lot of off the shelf stuff without doing some kind of modification to it, unless it's things like Shelley or something. But even those kinds of solutions are not simple, and they're not final. We're just not there. I think this is a complicated process. These are complicated devices anyways. And so it's always going to end up being, there's always going to be something that comes along that's better or different. And the number of potential points of failure in this whole process of, getting your lights to turn on when you come home without you doing anything or whatever, there's so many potential points of failure that, it's never going to be that simple. Anyways, I beat that to death. That's the answer to your question. I hope I didn't beat it too badly. All right, let's see. We still got more. Helicopter Pilot, how's it going? Is anyone else seeing log errors in Home Assistant log when actionable notifications is called? It still calls it and actions correctly, but it leaves a log in error. Interesting. I don't know about that, Heli Pilot, but I would say I would ask, see if you can oh gosh, what's Keaton's name in Discord? He doesn't use Discord, or he doesn't use Keaton Taylor. That's not his name in Discord. It's like unknown, not unknown player, but something like that. Shoot. If anybody knows what Keaton, maybe. Yeah, I would ask Keaton about that error. UK Heli Pilot. He would be the guy to know. Have you and your family dealt with home automation hardware that failed to meet expectations? You mean in the last hour? Yes. I mean, yes, constantly. Has there been a product that seems so promising only to be a huge disappointment? Oh, man. Oh, this is fun. Let's all answer this question. What is the product that seemed the most promising that just totally failed to live up to expectations? Oh my gosh. Please don't anybody say the Digiuno or the Digiquad. Oh, the most promising product that did not live up to expectations. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'd love to hear what you guys say. The Wise motion sensors. For me, Wise motion sensors at Philips Hue, Bluetooth, everything Google. Oh, man. Wise anything. Home Assistant in general, Kenneth. You turd. The Cube. Oh, you didn't like the Cube? You mean the Xiaomi Zigbee thing? The MyQ garage door opener? The robot vacuums. You know what? I think I would put robot vacuums pretty high on my list. Because I think I've had 3 different robot vacuums now, and it's just kind of been, Alexa. Sir Goodenough says Alexa is the letdown, huh? Let me think about myself. What would I say has been the biggest disappointment? Gosh, I've been so disappointed so many times. Sega CD. And some people love their cubes. You know what's nice about this is everybody's experience is a little different. I love my Alexa, and Sir Goodenough is disappointed in his. And then no good with pets, robot vacuums. And I know people that have had people love their robot vacuums, right? The Beetle. You mean my bug? Is Blade here? Where is Blade? I don't know. Where is Blade? I don't think he is. If he is, he hasn't said hi yet. Oh, that's a great question. I gotta give that some more thought. Biggest letdown. Gosh, that's really hard. I guess I would probably say it's not the product, it's mostly the user. Sad truth. Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. Incontinence issues. Oh man. I'll have to give that one some thought. What's been the one that I was like, oh, this is going to be great. And then it's just not so great. I think it's because maybe one of the reasons that I still do this is because I have a short failure memory. You know what I mean? Like if something fails, I just kind of move on. Pretty easy. Automatic bathroom lights. Really? The resin printer. Oh, Mrs. Z's is calling. She's probably on her way home. Oh boy. Hey. Hello? 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 Okay. She'll call back in a minute. That means we got to get close to the end of the stream. This has been a fun one. I'm sad. I don't want to stop. Yeah, we forget the bad ones, don't we? That was a great question, though, Robert. That was fun. Thank you very much. How many more questions can I get to? Is it possible to activate Sonoff or something through the stream? Yes. Yes. Sir Goodenough. Yes. We're working on that. Zigbee door sensor is not seeing the Combi 2. Should I scrap it? It does see something, but not the full name info cannot be used. Geez. You know, so the Zigbee, so this is Sempanafu. Zigbee is a little tricky because you've got incompatibility issues all over the place. If you look at Blackadder's Zigbee compatibility breakdown, what you'll see is tons of manufacturers making Zigbee things, which are supposed to all be intercompatible, but they are not. It depends on what software you're using for your hub, and in some cases, what hub you're using, maybe, as well. So should you scrap it? Well, if you didn't spend much on it, probably fine to scrap it, I guess. The other option is try a different hub or try a different software for the hub. Ah, there she is again. Hello? Yes, I can. Oh, wow, you guys are far. Well, good. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds fine. We haven't done anything to get ready to go. Like nothing. So. Yeah. No. We have, so here's one of my issues is we've got, 200 orders here that nobody did anything with yesterday. So anyways, we'll talk when you get home. Okay? That's fine. Yep. Love you. Bye. I didn't tell her I was streaming. I'm such a bad boy. Oh, I'm such a bad boy. Yeah, careful driving in the snow. We're driving down to St. George. Look at that, man. It's coming down. It's coming down. We're not taking the RV today. We're going to take our big van. Anyway, so I I'll answer one or two more questions here, and then we'll probably have to sign off because I'm going to have to pretend like I'm getting ready to go. Maybe Mrs. Z's was calling to put her big failure in. Yeah, probably. Well, anyways. The thing that she says fails is also the thing she loves the most. One day or two won't speed it up. That's true. All right. How do you get the temperature data from a Digiuno or Digiquad? Good question, Stephen. I think what you have to do for that is, I think you have to use a custom, if you're using WLED, I think you have to use a custom compiled WLED version, and I don't even know where it's at or when it's available or whatever it is. But here's the issue from the GitHub page, and you'll have to just do the rest of the research yourself. I can tell you this, that not for those of you that are buying them from me, if there's been some scattered in there that are homemade, that aren't made in China, and not all the homemade ones even have the temperature sensor, because for 99% of the users, nobody's using the temperature sensor that's available. But if you want the temperature sensor, I think that all the ones that are coming, also, 90+% of them that are going out have the temperature sensor on them. It just sits there. It doesn't do anything. So, you know what? I think one of my biggest disappointments has been the ESP32 camera. Yeah. That was one that I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is going to be so great. And it's just, it was close. It was so close, but it just couldn't get it done. All right. And then we'll answer this last question. Any cool things to do with the new Chromecast with Google to integration into Home Assistant? Getting a pair in the mail today. For me, the best thing to do with these, Google, I don't know about Chromecast. That's interesting. Chromecast, if it will work, I don't know if it'll work like a media player. It probably will. If it will work like a media player, currently for me personally, the most fun thing to do with any Google device is text to speech with the Cloud Say. And, you put a funny accent in and you get them to say things. You can get them to speak another language. So that's a lot of fun for me. All right. So I'm going to have to sign off. What about the solder pen? You mean my soldering iron? I love my soldering iron. The TS100? Oh my gosh, I love that thing. Make your TV talk through text to speech. That sounds fun to me. Question channel's now closed. Thanks for your questions. Yes, thank you, Sir Goodenough, for handling that. And thanks everybody for asking questions. That was fun. It was a really short stream today, but I got to get in what I can get in, and got to get on. We got to get out into this mess. So let's see what happens if I hit the sign off button. See if it'll work. You won't see me tomorrow, Polson. I will be in St. George, so I won't be able to stream. That's why I'm doing it today. So I'm glad we got to do some things. Not a lot of stuff going on. I can tell you, for update purposes, you wouldn't know it, but the Mega Alarm thing is really working well. And then I got Luciferin working on both my monitors, so that's really awesome too. All right, girls, you ready? Son of a nutcracker. All right, you ready to say sign off? Let's just say sign off like we're really excited to go play in the snow. Ready? Okay? Let's say sign off like Holly just won her basketball game. Ready? As always, thanks for watching. Until next time, adios. Okay. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here. Have a good weekend. We'll see you. Adios.
Son of a nutcracker.
Son of a nutcracker. Okay.